Hello everyone, Rurikhan here coming at you with another video, and today we're going to be talking a little bit about Lords of the Fallen. This is one of the games that a lot of you guys have mentioned in the comment sections of the previous two videos that I made about E3, so I basically checked it out. I downloaded a bunch of videos, watched a bunch of interviews on the game, and now I'm going to be telling you guys my opinion on it. So one of the first things about Lords of the Fallen is that a lot of people, and I do mean a lot of people, like my commenters included, seem to have this idea that Lords of the Fallen is going to be some kind of a Dark Souls title almost. And to be completely honest, I don't know of a better way to put this, but let me just assure you guys that Lords of the Fallen is going to be quite a bit different from a Dark Souls title. And those of you that are expecting a Dark Souls-like experience might, I mean, it's not like I'm going to say that you guys might be disappointed, but just don't expect this to be like Dark Souls, because it is not going to be. So the main focus of this particular title is going to be its combat, as was said by by one of the developers, of which I saw the interview. I'm not exactly sure what his title was, because I didn't memorize that particular bit of information. I was more focused on getting more information on the title. The background story of the game is the human race rebelled against their god, who is apparently an evil god in the universe of this game. And they defeated that god as well as his legion of demons and whatnot. And after doing so, they came up with a list of a whole bunch of stuff that people shouldn't do because those things were evil. Kind of like a list of sins, so to speak. And anyone who committed those sins, however, they wouldn't kill them or punish them. What they would do is they would just like brand them with a tattoo on the face, and those people would become outcasts. And why is this information important? Because if you guys look at the artwork of Lords of the Fallen, you guys will notice that our main character, whose name I believe is going to be Harkin with an H, all of the artwork for that particular character happens to have a tattoo. That is because suddenly in the world a bunch of demons appeared, and the humans, they're like, we don't want to really, by humans I mean like humanity in general, they're like, we don't really want to have to deal with any of these demons, so we'll just send the outcasts who have committed a whole bunch of sins and all that stuff. So essentially our hero is not really a hero. He is someone who's done some bad stuff in the past, and he's being sent off to essentially die in a way, but he's being sent off to go ahead and fight against the demons that have showed up. So in terms of gameplay, like I said, a big focus of this title is going to be in combat. And in terms of combat, yes, they are borrowing a lot of ideas from Dark Souls, but as you guys can see, the story itself is going to be wildly different. As far as I can tell, the game seems to be a lot more narrative driven than Dark Souls, which again is one of those things that people get like, oh man, it's going to be like Dark Souls. Like, it's not. Dark Souls is a lot more than just a bunch of combat and mechanics, which I would hope a lot of people would know this by now. But anyways, this is not a bad thing. I'm not saying like this is not going to be like Dark Souls is a bad thing, because it's like not every game needs to be like Dark Souls. And I'm glad that someone is working on this title, because the title looks amazing. Graphically, the title looks very, very impressive. The animations look really, really good. The cloth physics on the armor that he wears and stuff like that is also looking straight up solid. I like the art style. It reminds me a lot, in terms of art style, reminds me a lot of Darksiders, which, as you guys know, I'm a huge fan of Darksiders. So everything about this title is actually really appealing to me personally. Now, in terms of combat and whatnot, you're going to be able to play as three base classes. You're not really locked into anything. Those classes are going to be your typical rogue, warrior, and cleric. But the only thing that this really defines, and again, this is a little bit of me extrapolating from the information that I've seen so far, what this really defines is, depending on the class that you choose at the start of the game, what's going to be specific to your class is going to be the type of spells that you'll be able to cast. So I believe that clerics are able to cast, I'm going to assume, like healing magic. Rogues are able to cast buffs and stuff like that is going to buff their instant assassination moves. And warriors are able to buff their damage, I believe. At least that's what I seem to remember. But the thing is, picking a class, according to what they're saying, does not really lock you into any specific type of play. So you could, by all means, like select a cleric and then play it with really heavy armor, or select a cleric and then play it with daggers and try to do takedowns and backstabs and that kind of stuff. There is definitely a backstab mechanic that I've seen in some of the gameplay footage. I've seen a couple of weapons. One of the coolest looking weapons that I've seen was a hammer. I mean, you guys know that I kind of dig hammers, and I particularly like those hammers because the hammers in this game, because they remind me a lot of the art style in Warhammer, which I'm not sure how many of you guys are actually fans of the Warhammer universe, but like the priests in the cleric class, so to speak, in this game reminds me a lot of like Sigmar priests. I'm not exactly sure if this was their name, or warrior priests or whatever, from Warhammer, which are just these big badass dudes that wield a hammer and just like smash people to bits. Looks really, really cool. You also got a shield that you can use to block. I think I saw some like shield slamming a little bit, some guard breaking going on, and a lot of different play styles. The weapons are going to have different move sets, and they're going to incentivize different playstyles from you. Like, for instance, if you're doing like a dual wield type rogue character, you're going to be spamming a lot more attacks, and you're going to be looking for opportunities to go and do backstabs and stuff like that. Whereas if you're wielding a heavier weapon, you're going to have to wait until your enemy's open to basically lay the smackdown on him. And it seems like it's going to have a variety of gameplay that is going to be very, very interesting. Like I said, one of the things that I definitely cannot stress enough is that the graphics look beautiful, the art style looks beautiful, and it just looks like it's going to be a great title. Now, in terms of challenge, because it's something that's been brought up a whole bunch of times, the developers say that they want people to have a very challenging experience. However, they don't want people to suffer the frustrations that come attached with that particular type of experience. Now, what does this mean? Well, the thing here is, like, in order for you to succeed and really feel that sense of achievement, which is also something that they stress a lot in multiple interviews that I've seen and in the gameplay videos and whatnot, they stress a lot that they want you to have an amazing sense of achievement when you actually defeat something. But the fact of the matter is, I almost feel like it's hard for you to get a nice sense that you've achieved something without you experiencing the frustration of failure. I'm not exactly sure how they're going to work that out. They're talking about having very lenient checkpoints and stuff like that, so that people don't feel like, oh, I died here and now I have to redo this entire zone again. But it's like that, I feel that sometimes is something that is necessary to an experience like this. So I'm not exactly sure how that's going to work out. But they're definitely saying they want the game to be really, really challenging, and they also want a lot of people to enjoy their title. So I'm almost thinking if they're going to go the route of having multiple difficulty settings, which obviously is something that happens in a lot of games, but me personally, as you guys know, I'm more of a fan of like not having any of that, and it's like you have to be good enough to get through. And I'm hoping that maybe they'll do something like this. Like, look, you need to be good enough to get through the game. You can't just like go and select the lower difficulty setting and just mash button your way through, which I'm not sure if they're going to do that or not. This is a bunch of speculation at this point by now. But essentially, I feel that Lords of the Fallen is going to be a pretty cool experience, but I think that a lot of people are going to be disappointed if they go in just thinking, oh man, it's going to be just like Dark Souls, because it is not. It is its own game, and that is a good thing. Because like I said, not every game needs to be like Dark Souls. I almost didn't want to mention Dark Souls in this particular video, because I mean, I can only imagine that as a developer, it must be sometimes frustrating to just hear your game getting compared all over the place. But I had to mention it because it's like, if I didn't mention it, it's like the elephant in the room. Everybody's talking about that particular aspect of it. And we would just not be able to move past it. In regards to specific boss fights and stuff like that, I saw a couple of boss fights it looked pretty interesting, but it also looked very predictable. Like I saw one of the boss fights where he was using a heavy weapon and he was explaining like, look, to defeat this boss, you have to look for an opening. And as someone who is used to playing challenging games, I was looking at the boss's pattern and I was like, well, that pattern's actually pretty easy. So I'm hoping that you guys got something a little bit more challenging than that to show us when the final title releases. They also made it a point that they want to release this year. They want to slide their game back to 2015, which is definitely a good thing. And I'm really looking forward to it. I'm pretty excited about this title, and it is definitely going to be making an appearance on the channel when it actually releases. But anyways, that is going to be it. Make sure to leave all of your comments and feedback in the video below. If you guys want to see any other title, be sure to also leave that. I've been checking every single day for more comments to see what else people want to see from E3. And I believe that probably the next video is going to be about Dragon Age Inquisition, because a lot of people have definitely been requesting that one as well. There's also been a lot of people that have been requesting me to talk about The Witcher 3. And here's the thing, though. There hasn't really been a whole lot of new information coming out about Witcher 3, so I already have 3 videos on Witcher 3 on the channel, and my opinion hasn't really changed that much. 2 of those videos are interviews. Another video is actually me discussing the features of Witcher 3 and stuff like that. So if you want to know my opinion on Witcher 3, just go to my channel and search for Witcher 3. I'm pretty sure you're going to find out how I feel about that title as well. But anyways, that is going to be it. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you guys in the next one.